Yeah, my name's Oral Stallings. I'd like to tell the story of Stand Down. How I understand it to begin was two Vietnam vets were in San Diego were on the way to the Grand Canyon to go river rafting. But as they were leaving town, they happened to notice all these so-called homeless folks running around in San Diego, most of them wearing old military clothing, field jackets, trousers. And they didn't think much about it, but they wound up going out of town to the Grand Canyon. But as they were going down river rafting, they started thinking about all the brothers that they saw. And they were thinking, well, what can we do when we get back to San Diego? Because, something isn't right if they're all out on the streets like that. Anyway, they went back and they decided that they would go out in the evening, and they were delivering coffee, hot coffee, peanut butter sandwiches, just on the streets to these guys that were walking around. And then they decided at some point, because they were seeing so many of them on the street coming for the coffee and the sandwiches and talking to them, they decided to have a gathering for them at one of the local high school football field. And they threw out a few flyers, and before they knew it, they had over 100 vets show up that day, just to come in and, so they reminded themselves of the term stand down, which simply means that, in the military, you were able to take a break, so to speak, put down your rifle or whatever, get a hot meal and, get a shower. Anyway, the following year, they realized that they had so many more because of their contact through that year that they decided to go to San Diego State and use their football field, which was huge. Something like 300-400 guys showed up, for this event. Anyway, that's the birth of Stand Down, result of two Vietnam vets, and there's that thing that we always say to each other, veterans taking care of veterans, and that's exactly how that began. Anyway, as a combat veteran, I was in the Marine Corps. I enlisted when I was 17 years old. The day I turned 17, I joined the Marine Corps for the next 4 years. Actually, I joined February 14th. I made the Marines my Valentine's sweetheart. That was in 1965. And I went in February. I had my boot camp leave after ITR in June, and returned to Camp Pendleton for my new duty after boot camp, and found myself on a troop transport going nonstop from Long Beach to Da Nang, Vietnam. And I was still 17. I had my 18th birthday in Vietnam. My MOS was 0351, which is rockets. When we landed in 65, I actually carried the bazooka, which is a very interesting machine to carry around in the jungle with 9-pound rounds. Anyway, but I was 17, I could handle it. So I was in the Marine Corps for four years. I served 13 and a half months in Vietnam. Came back and was stationed at Concord Naval Weapons Station as military police from 1966 through 69. Got out of the Marine Corps then. I was discharged with a General under Honorable. I tended to have an attitude about myself when I came back, especially to officers. They wanted to play war games every weekend, and I'm going, I already done the real one. I ain't doing your war games. Anyway, so I got out, and basically I just, not that I was homeless, but I never stayed in any one place for more than 6 months. I traveled this whole United States during the next 10 years. I am 100% PTSD. I was diagnosed in 1986. I've been in every program they probably have. I've spent at least 3 years total. I spent 9 months in Menlo Park PTSD program. Then I spent 6 months at American Lake in Tacoma, Washington on a PTSD, in and out of psych wards. I'm just now celebrating 10 years of not being in a medical facility for whatever reason. I am taking medication, which is what's keeping me normal, so to speak. I moved to this community in 1977 by accident. I was a watch repairman from Toledo, Ohio, being sent to Macy's in San Francisco in 1977. I put in for a transfer to get out of Ohio. Stopped here for lunch in 1977 and never left. And 2 months later, I met the woman that I've now been married to for 40 years. It was kind of destiny as that goes. And I have 3 grandchildren and 3 sons, and my life has changed radically since I arrived in this county. Since then, my therapy is working with veterans. That's what I do. That's who I am. I'm mostly proud that I do the honor guard burial detail for our veterans. I helped bring that together in this county, got us certified through the DOD so that we got new rifles, and now we can perform those missions. I personally got involved with Stand Down in Sacramento in 1993. I'd seen a flyer at the local VA hospital in Reno. Anyway, so I showed up. It was being held at a Boy Scout camp in Sacramento down by the river. And it was a 3-day event, and I went and I stayed. And the following year, I took 3 or 4 other of our veterans from this area, got them turned on to coming down and volunteering. And over the next several years, probably the next 5 years, it became a real thing for us. And in fact, as a result of the Stand Down on Florin Road, they opened up what was called the Resource Center. It was a 32-bed resource center for the homeless that had come through Stand Down. And I took about 5 of us guys went down there and painted this new complex. And I was their security. I stayed there for 2 weeks with my trailer, being security there. But anyway, as we came back in 1999, Victor Traverso, Army veteran, Nick DeZaperkansky, who's a recon Marine brother, and myself decided that we should bring Stand Down to Nevada County. And so in 1999, we had our first Stand Down here at the fairgrounds. And we had a lot of help with our persons that was part of the Stand Down in Sacramento. They helped us figure out how to go about doing it. Anyway, our first year, we had Beale Air Force Base came and put up the tents. We had a 3-day food, clothing. It was just a marvelous time. And we had over 100, maybe 120, 130 veterans show up that first year at the Stand Down in '99. And then we've been having the Stand Down ever since. And this is now 2017. I think this is like 16, 17 years that we've been doing the Stand Down.